And with that, I'm going to introduce our keynote speaker. We have Catherine Loftus, who is the Senior CRM and Product Marketing Manager at TrustedHousesitters. She is an EIS, she's a return visitor, so she's been great speaking before, and we hope you'll enjoy. We're excited to see her case study about what they're doing at Trusted House Sitters. So please join me in welcoming Catherine to the stage.
Hi, great to be here today. I'm here from Trusted House Sitters, and I'm going to share some sort of stories about our journey in referral marketing and how it has really helped us, particularly in this kind of post-GDPR world that we are living in. So Trusted House Sitters is a B2C platform business. I know there's a lot of B2B marketers in the room today and some consumer brands, so hopefully you'll all find something of relevance here. So who here today is a pet owner? A few people, me too. And I'm sure you'll agree, I particularly feel about my cats that they are my babies. There's this trend towards the humanisation of pets in the world today, and astonishingly, 25% of pet owners never travel. And a high percentage of pet owners who do travel really struggle to do so and often incur huge fees when it comes to boarding their pets. And the kind of basic premise of Trusted House Sitters is that pets are happier at home. So our Trusted Sitters don't charge to pet sit. Both pet owners and pet sitters join our platform because they are kind of united in this belief that pets are happier at home. And our pet-loving sitters offer their pet sitting services for free because they get to enjoy the companionship of pets in over 130 countries. And pet owners get to have someone come and look after their pets who they are sure really want to kind of be there and aren't kind of motivated by money. So I'm going to share a video here which just is a bit more from our members and why they love our product. Hopefully.
Oh, we don't have a sound.
Oh no. The perils of including a video in your presentation.
We'll make sound. Everybody can just... So sorry.
Has anyone heard of Trusted House Sitters here? Yes, Dave. Cool.
Still don't have sound.
Oh, there we go.
I think it just breeds that feeling of trust and that sort of gut feeling of, you know, these people are on our wavelength, and that's the experience we've had meeting people through the website.
We'd like to go away at least 1 weekend a month, and Trusted House Sitters has definitely allowed us to be able to travel as much as possible.
Definitely helped us have a lot of peace of mind travelling. It's completely taken away all our worries about going away.
The idea of putting your pet into kennels, for many people, is just not an option. And also, there's lots of pets that you just can't kennel. You can't kennel a chicken, for example. Having someone come into your home and look after your pets is a much better option.
It's been such a great experience, being so comfortable knowing that we could leave our pet and knowing that she was taken care of.
The arrangement with Trusted House Sitters is we're getting the service of somebody who wants to care for our dog, and they're getting a nice place to stay, and no money changes hands. I can only think of it as a win-win.
House sitting has definitely changed the way I travel. I travel more often now. My experience with Trusted House Sitters has been amazing. Something quite extraordinary happens when you're looking after other people's animals. It really touched my heart.
There we go. So that's a bit more about Trusted House Sitters. A few more kind of stats about our business. So we are the market leader in house and pet sitting. And actually globally, we're the only brand doing what we do. So we're in over 130 countries now with members all around the world. One of the really unique things about our pet care solution is that we are for all pets and we are for all combinations of pets. So a lot of pet owners will, for example, have a cat and a dog, and using traditional kind of boarding solutions, you would have to find someone to take the dog and someone to look after the cat. Whereas with Trusted House Sitters, you'll find someone who can look after them both, or even if you have a small holding, a farm, llamas, you name it, we've seen it on the website. The business model is really unique as well. So some of our members alluded to it in the video that I've just shown, but no money changes hands between the two parties, which is just really unique and kind of breeds this great kind of community, which is really what I'm going to be talking about today. It's also for all accommodation types. So you'll find house sits on the website that are kind of beachfront villas, apartments in New York, or farmhouses, all types of homes. And finally, and the bit that really makes the platform special, I suppose, is the equity of trust that runs through the platform. So because no money changes hands between owners and sitters, the reviews and feedback that the community leave for one another almost becomes the currency of the network. And that's kind of how we build trust. And that's why word of mouth marketing is so important to us. So here's just a glimpse of some of the sits that are available on the website at the moment, just to help you get an idea of what it's all about. So we've got this amazing villa in St. Lucia, we've got an apartment in Shanghai, that gorgeous dog in Sydney, Spain, California and London. So yeah, 130 countries we are in. So on to referral marketing. So when our founders, Andy and Rachel, set up Trusted House Sitters in 2010, they literally sold their flat, they sold their car, and they bought a round-the-world plane ticket. And they literally went round telling people about this idea that they'd had and the platform that they were setting up. And the business was grown on that kind of word-of-mouth, grassroots marketing. And since then, referral has been so important to us. We have a really low CPA because we have this kind of groundswell of referral marketing. When people have had a great experience, they tell their friends about it, and that's just crucial for us. So as well as letting that happen organically, it is a really, really kind of strong pillar in our marketing strategy. And especially since GDPR, it's become even more important to us. Because of the fact that you are working directly with your customers to reach new ones. So like us, I'm sure many of you have kind of suffered from a lower lead base post-GDPR and you're kind of trying to build back up your leads. What focusing on referral marketing allows you to do is actually reach potential customers in a really human way. It's a really natural form of marketing. It's not intrusive. You're not kind of doing brute force marketing. You're reaching people who you know are likely to be interested in your platform or in your business because you're reaching them through the people that you know already love it. It's also really high converting. So some research from Trustpilot said that people are 4 times more likely to buy a product or service if they've had a personal recommendation. And we definitely see it. Our Refer a Friend program actually converts at over 900% higher than our baseline conversion rate. So the power of that word of mouth referral is just essential. We've had to make some changes to the way we do Refer a Friend since GDPR. So we used to have a system in our platform where a member would put in their friend's email address and we would trigger an email out to the friend saying you're invited to join Trusted House Sitters. So some of you might be doing the same thing if you're running Refer a Friend programs. What we decided to do post-GDPR to really kind of ensure that we were following the rules was that we now trigger that email directly to the member, and then we remind them in the pre-header that they can forward that email on to their friends, and then they, from within their own kind of address book, can then send off their email to as many people as they want to invite. We were actually a bit unsure about doing this at first because you lose that kind of a lot of the tracking in particular. But what we've actually found is that these emails now perform better because of the margin for human error when someone's putting in their friend's email address within the platform. They might quite often make a mistake when putting it in, but now that we're triggering the email directly to the member, to the email address that's already assigned to them in our database, we now have a 100% delivery rate. So in a way, that's actually been quite a positive step for us. So if anyone is kind of thinking about doing something similar in their referral program, it's really worked for us. I wanted to share this diagram, which is kind of the fundamental pillars of the marketing strategy that I'm building out at the moment. And I think it's really relevant for both GDPR and for referral marketing. So it's the fact that by doing really good marketing, it leads to what we call a healthy network of members. So any other platform businesses here today will kind of be thinking about members, but it also works for your customers or your connections. So it's basically saying the more you look after your customers, the more likely they are to refer you. And it just kind of, by focusing on referral marketing, you're kind of looking after your customers at every point in the journey, rather than just scaling things right at the top of the funnel and thinking about growth and being quite aggressive in that. It's a reminder that looking after your customers at every single point does actually lead to meaningful growth. And this is something that I've kind of used quite a lot when presenting to the business, actually, and showing how marketing, product and customer service actually all need to work together to achieve growth. It's not just kind of a marketing responsibility at the top of the funnel. So I wanted to share a metric called the K factor, which is something new that I discovered last year that's really relevant to kind of measuring and building out referral marketing. So it's actually the maths behind the mystery of going viral. So when I say going viral, it could be a video that's had millions of views, it could be a piece of content, but it could actually just be your referral marketing. I won't go too much into the maths, but it's K equals I times R, where I is the number of invitations that people are sending out to your product, service, or piece of content, and R is the rate at which they convert. So essentially, a K factor of 1 or higher means that you are considered to be viral or you have strong referrals. What I really like about the K factor is that it gives a structure for your referral marketing. So for marketing, you focus on getting your customers to send out more invitations. So it's essentially about ensuring that your product or your service is really shareable. And for product, it's about how you convert those leads. So you might look at having a different journey for customers who have been referred by word of mouth. You might look at what incentive they get, or you expedite them through the funnel because you know that they've had a personal recommendation. So it's really a holistic view, right from the invitation going out for the first time through to how you treat that lead when they come through. And it really links back to that kind of circular, driving a culture of constantly improving your product, your customer experience, and your customer satisfaction to drive more referrals, which then leads to kind of meaningful growth, especially as, post-GDPR, we're all focused on kind of building back up our lead bases. So some research that I did recently showed that up to 62% of our members first heard about us through word of mouth, which means that we have definitely a strong K factor. But it also made me think that there's two different ways of thinking about referral marketing. The first is your Refer a Friend program. So that might be the discounts or incentives that you offer your current customers to encourage them to bring in new ones for you. But the other is general word of mouth marketing, which kind of sits separately to that program, and it's more about that innate sort of shareability. So a couple of years ago, we had an experience at Trusted Housesitters of going viral, which was amazing. So we had these screens up in the office where we show the number of real-time users on the website, and we noticed that it was like 2 or 3 times as high as it normally was. And what was happening was that we were going viral. It wasn't a piece of content or a video, it was actually just our concept. So it all started on Board Panda and got picked up in huge publications around the world, Huffington Post. We had coverage in India, Spain, Brazil, all over the world. And this is what it did to our website traffic. So we had a huge spike of traffic in the summer with a couple of peaks as we continued to get more coverage. But what you'll see, and what I find most interesting about this, is that the sustained level of uplift in sessions continued for the rest of the year, even once that kind of initial peak in coverage came through. And what that shows is that shareability, and by encouraging people to share your content, it actually has a much longer term impact than you might realise. So since then, we've looked at different ways to encourage our users to share our product. It's not always just in the context of being salesy or encouraging them to share their referral code, but it's just about just getting them to talk about the product more within their networks. So one way that we've done that is through Facebook. So we encourage our members to connect with us on Facebook to be part of, that's kind of our community channel. So we've got an amazing community manager, Angela, who replies to every single comment, which is just amazing. And what we see here is that our members, because we've engaged with them, we've invested in our relationship with them, and we're reaping the kind of benefits of that through referral. So, you'll have prospects coming through saying, how does it all work? Do I have to pay for my travel? What is this all about? And before we can even get there and respond, our members are doing it for us. So they're coming through, they're really willing to share their experiences, and then at the end of a kind of exchange with someone, they might say, and if you want to join, please use my code and you can have 20% off and I'll get some free months. So that kind of community referral and the kind of conversation piece is really, really important to us, and it's a great way of building out social proof in your product as well. We kind of drive that through CRM. So this is one example of how we move members from platform through to social channels and get them to share. So when you are confirmed on a new house sit, you receive a trigger that says, great, you're going to Germany or wherever it might be, share your adventures with your friends. And we push you through to Facebook, where you can share the sit that you're going on. And then actually within the metadata, we embed the member's referral code so that when their friends click on the sit, they come through, they see that they can get a discount, and everyone's a winner. So I wanted to share now some specific examples about how you can kind of enhance your Refer a Friend program through CRM. So who here today does run a Refer a Friend program of some sort? Cool, a few people. So it might be that you'll want to kind of think about enhancing it or maybe setting one up. So the first kind of style that I wanted to share that's been really effective for us in referral marketing is letter-style emails. Now, I love letter-style emails because they break all the rules of email marketing. They're long-form copy, there's no big imagery, the CTA is really small at the bottom, but they really, really work for us. So here's an example of one. So this was a Refer a Friend email that we went out with earlier last year. As you'll see, it's really long-form copy, but it's really personalised in the journey. So this one was to people who had joined but had not yet referred a friend. So it's, you're already part of the community by having a pet sitter, but there's still many pet owners out there looking for a pet care solution. We make them feel like part of the tribe, like good people know good people, and I want to meet your friends. And then it focuses on the benefits to the member, so the fact that they can give their friends 20% off and they can receive 3 months of membership. And then it's signed off from our founder, and he did actually write this content, so it's really, really authentic. And here's the version that went out to people who had referred a friend. So again, it's really personalised. Because you invited friends like Sam to join, we've been able to welcome a new friend into the community. It's got that feel-good factor. It also plays on this feeling of being part of the community and has that authenticity. So despite these emails doing the opposite of what might be thought of as best practice, these letter-style emails drove a 48% increase in the amount of invitations that were going out when compared to the kind of BAU nudges that we had in our product, which are very kind of image-led. I've got a screenshot of those actually next. But it just goes to show that kind of trying something new and being a bit risky with your testing can really pay off. So here's the version of the email that we were testing against. Big, bold image, big CTA, but ultimately that more personal touch is what won out. The second program style that I want to share is this idea of gamification and storytelling. So this is at kind of the complete opposite end of the spectrum to the letter style emails. These are very salesy, they're very image-led. So these were run as integrated campaigns across channels that were set up as a series of competitions that were time limited. So our objective was both to increase the number of invitations that members were sending out, but then also decreasing the time to conversion from the people that they were inviting. So we used membership-related prizes to incentivize referrals, which provided a really strong ROI for us because it doesn't really cost us anything to add kind of time to people's memberships. Our KPI was the volume of invites that went out because it was kind of relating to that K factor. And it was a multi-channel campaign with CRM at the heart. So here's what the journey looked like. So it started out with an invitation email through to a targeted group of our members. We included this kind of greyed out element here, which in the heat maps we saw lots of people trying to click on that. So they're kind of feeling like, oh, I want to unlock my prizes. How do I do that? And then that linked through to the product, the landing page dedicated to each member where they can invite their friends. And then that email goes out to their friends that they want to invite, or they forward it on to them. And then that links to another personalised landing page for the prospect. And on that page, there's a picture of the person that's invited them and includes their name. So your friend, Catherine, has invited you to join Trusted House Sitters. And then through that journey, the friend joins through a kind of dedicated journey through the funnel. And then we let the member know that their friend has joined. We thank them for referring a new member, and then they have the opportunity to win a prize. So this is a really nice interactive tool that we use, that we were using called Odyssey, where you on the mobile you can kind of like really peel it back, or on the desktop you drag it back, and through that you receive a prize. So we're giving out things like lifetime memberships, and 3 months, 3 years. This is a bit more of the email journey. So it sort of launched with the big, bold kind of prize email. Then it became more personalised as time went on, so including real stories and real images from the winners so far. So it kind of made the competition feel real because we could show that real people were winning. And we kept the visual identity quite loose at the beginning so that we could include the pictures of the real people that had won within the banners, which was really effective. So using the real names as well, Maria and Mark have won, you could too. And then finally, that urgency message, which we found really increases the amount of invitations that are going out. And then we supported that through case studies and stories from the members who had won, so that we could both share that with our members to say, real people are winning and you could be next, but then also using that content at the top of funnel to say, here are some amazing members that are having great experiences. So one of the things I really liked about this campaign is that it uses something called nudge theory, which is kind of around behavioural economics and different ways that you can kind of nudge people through your communications to carry out certain actions. So a really important one for us is social proof. And in the comms, we included lines like, most members invite up to 7 people and they tend to be neighbours and colleagues. So it's kind of setting the benchmark that, most people send out 7 invitations, I'd better do the same. And they tend to be neighbours and colleagues. So because we were encouraging members to send out so many invitations, we suggested that they might want to think about neighbours and colleagues because they might have kind of exhausted their small circle of friends, and it encourages them to think wider about who they might want to invite. The second was reinforcement. So congratulations, you've sent out 9 invites, but the more you invite, the higher your chances of winning. And then finally, urgency. Hurry, there are only 3 days left to win when you refer a friend. And the combination of the referral aspects, the omni-channel nature of the campaign, and these nudges led to a really successful output. So this was the uplift in invitations that we saw. So here was before the launch of the campaign. This was the big peak in invites going out when we first launched, and then a kind of sustained uplift with mini peaks that aligned to when the comms went out, and then the big peak at the end around the urgency. So if there's one strategy that particularly works for us that I would share, it is that urgency. So planning that in at the beginning of a campaign, so you know that you've got 3 or 4 days towards the end where you're really ramping up, like last chance, really works for us. So linking this all back to GDPR, I think one of the main goals of GDPR was to put the customer first, and that's really come through in the way that we're treating data and encouraging brands to be more transparent in the way that they kind of hold data. But thinking back to that kind of circular, which I think I've got here, this circular nature of how referral marketing can encourage you to kind of care about and focus on your customers, not just when you're first trying to sell them something, but actually through using your product and remembering that the better you look after them, the more likely you are to refer, in a way that that kind of links back to GDPR as well, in the way that, you know, if you are focusing more on referral marketing, it means that you are hopefully actually investing more in your product and the way that you communicate with your members or your customers. So my key takeaways for you would be investing in your referral activity can help you achieve growth through both acquisition and retention. So you're looking after your customers more, encouraging them to refer, and in doing so, you're driving more relevant leads into your base, and then you're looking after them more, so they then will also go on to refer, and they will also be more likely to continue using your product because you have invested in them in that way. When measuring the effectiveness of your referral marketing, I really suggest that you use invites as one of your KPIs so that you can see what that kind of viral spread of the activity that you're trying to share is. Explore different styles of email marketing, like letter style comms, and don't be afraid to break the rules. Try something new if you think it's going to work. And GDPR is a chance to really put the customer first, and I suppose isn't that what we were trying to achieve in the first place? Thank you very much. Thank you. I've put a cheeky code there if anyone wants to join Trusted House Sitters, or have a chat with me later if you're interested. But any questions?
Thank you, Catherine. That was a great presentation.
Thank you.
I'm curious about the content and how you decided to go sort of playing with the long form letter and no images. And then also, I've noticed in some of, I was looking on your website, and some of the content, it shows the people and then some of it shows the animals. And how do you decide which content to use?
Yeah, so we try and be, we're kind of moving towards being really pets first in our marketing. So thinking about tying to the type of people that we want to come into the network. We want to naturally attract people that are kind of pet lovers. So try and put the pets first. But then, yeah, we've played with the letter style content, so bringing that real personal touch. So when you're first kind of hearing about Trusted House Sitters, we go quite inspirational, so drawing you in with great imagery, cute pets, amazing homes. And then as you learn more about the product, we then bring in the letter style content, which kind of tells the story of the brand. It's bringing the founder as the kind of face of the business, and it's helping you kind of build that connection. And that's why we use a lot of member content as well. So it kind of comes back to that social proof as well. So seeing that, you know, real people are doing this, because we are growing Trusted House Sitters not just as a brand, but actually house sitting as a concept. It's really important for us to play on social proof, which again is why referral is so important to us. So it's about making it feel real. So I suppose it just comes down to what point in the journey and what point in the funnel that you're in. You know, whether it's about that big inspirational piece at first, and then as you go through their education, it kind of becomes a bit more personal, a bit more real.
Great.
Cool.
Do we have any other questions? Here we go.
Hi, I'm Koen from BSH. I have a question about the people who join your community. Are they in some way reviewed, or how do, if you visit a pet, or if you pet an animal, afterwards, is there in your journey some kind of a ranking, or is it not necessary in your community?
Yes, we do. So there's two ways that we do it. The first is the kind of more structured, so we have a verification process within the product which all sitters go through, where they verify their identity and can get a criminal background check and that sort of thing, and that gives them the badge on their profile. But then after a sit has taken place, they get a review from the pet owner that they've cared for, and the pet owner can then also receive feedback from that sitter. So it's that two-way kind of review system, which is, yeah, super important. And the more reviews that you have, the more kind of sits you can go on the more kind of amazing ones that you can get. So, yeah, it's kind of, we've got both the verification, but then also the kind of community metrics like reviews and ratings.
Okay, thanks.
Cool.
We got one more right here. Hey, raise your hand if you're using Trusted House Sitters right now. If you know them, if you've used them. Back here? I'm literally using you right now.
Are you?
Right now, literally, in the US. Yes, I am,
Amazing.
literally, yes. Mr. Holland, it's true. They're very good. It's a lot of fun.
What have you got, cat or a dog?
2 dogs, 2 cats, and a Gila monster.
All pets.
I'm already feeling sorry for the house sitters. Oh my goodness. Okay. You'll probably get a text later from his house sitters complaining about the... Dave Holland, Live Clicker, really fascinated on the referral program. One really important question is, I've only got a goldfish.
Mm-hmm.
Does it still apply? No, seriously. Do you think how much of an influence is the dog and cat factor in this? I mean, have you looked at other referral programs that are running similar campaigns with similar success without the actual pet factor?
In terms of kind of...
Using the same methods but not involving animals, yeah.
I see what you mean.
Yeah,
yeah, I mean, obviously, when we look at other brands, we do kind of look within the pet care space. But because a lot of our referral marketing, I suppose, isn't specifically about pets, so the founder's letter, for example, anyone who's got a strong kind of spokesperson within their business or wants to establish one, I think that's a method that could work for anyone, really, bringing in the realness of your brand, if you like, especially for B2B marketers. I think it's B2B, but we're all still human, and we're all people buy from people. So that kind of thing that could work for everyone. And then, of course, there is that, we're lucky to have a really shareable concept, and, everyone loves talking about pets and travel. But I think these kind of methodologies, the K factor, the spokesperson, and the gamification with those behavioural nudges is something that anyone could try. Thanks, Dave.
Okay, thank you.